Everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Board Game Breakfast. All right, another week. We are here. I'm excited to see what happens. So there's a couple things I'm excited about. One is that the GAMA trade show is not this week, it's next week. But we've been making some plans. We originally were going to go to GAMA as a fairly minor presence, but some things changed, and now we're going to be recording there. I don't think we're going to be streaming live from GAMA itself, but we have a lot of new games that are coming out there that we're going to show off. They'll probably be posted the week after GAMA. But directly after GAMA next week, on Thursday, we're heading to MeepleCon, which is in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is a fun convention. We'll be there the entire convention, me and Sam and Z, and so and Derek and Kenny and Chaz. I don't think Chaz will be there, but several of us will be there. The brothers Murph, I'm sure, will be there, and so we are excited to see you all there. So if you're in that area or anywhere on the West Coast, come on out and play games with us there. We'll be doing some Wits and Wagers stuff there too. This past week, we tried something new on the Dice Tower, a paid playthrough of the Batman game. It's a really big Kickstarter. I've been planning to do these for a really long time. We've been testing playthroughs to see how they worked, and I've always thought that watching a preview of a game is okay. It gives you some information, but I'd rather watch a playthrough of the game. And I've done these for a couple reasons. I stopped doing the paid previews for a while for many different reasons, but one was just you were like, hey, this game is very interesting when it wasn't, right? But it's fun to play a game. So we're going to do these occasionally. We're not going to do them very often. I'm going to be very picky about the ones that I pick. I'm going to pick ones I think are fun for you guys to see and play, and hopefully they'll make you better informed decisions as to whether you like it or not. For example, I thought the Batman one was extremely fun. But, you know, that's up to you guys. You know, you can see people playing it and see the fun that they're having. So you're not going to be inundated. The channel's not going to be flooded with them. For example, there's none scheduled for this week or next week or whatever. I would think you might see maybe one a month at most as time goes by. But we're going to see other playthroughs, too, of different games that we'll do because we like playing through games. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. Other than that, oh, yes, if you have not yet got, first of all, if you backed us on the Kickstarter, thank you. For people who backed us, we've sent out the pledge managers, so you should have got it. Don't forget to fill it out as soon as you can so we can make the orders for these dice towers and dice and things and get them. So that's important. And if you want it to be in the pledge manager and did not get one, and like, oh, if we didn't back your Kickstarter and you want to, then let us know and we'll give you a link to do so. You can email us at tom@dicetower.com. All right, enough of that nonsense though. Let's get to it. First of all, if you own Stop Thief from Restoration Games, they've released a new addition to the app where it's total co-op now. I haven't tried this yet, but I plan to because I think that that's a good idea for that game. And so we might do a review of that in the future where we take a look at just the co-op nature of it. But that's pretty cool. Let's see. Bezier Games has announced Whistle Stop Rocky Mountain expansion. Whistle Stop is a little train game they did last year where you like filled in the board as you moved your trains throughout it. This one adds mountains. Well, obviously, 3D mountain board, that sounds cool, and more stuff, more cards. It's coming out in August. Matago has announced a new expansion for Dicetown called A Fistful of Dollars. This is actually a very small mini expansion, 26 cards, more stuff for the game and for both of the expansions, and it sounds like it upgrades the first edition of the game, if you have that, to the new edition, which I don't know if I like that, because if that's the case, then a good chunk of this is useless to those of us who already got the second edition of the game. We'll have to wait and see. There's a new board game company in town, Luma Games. They are from Canada, of Quebec specifically, and they're going to be publishing some games up in Canada and French and English up there, but they're also going to have some original games. The first one that they're going to do is Museum. Now, Museum's not completely original. The designer studio, it was kickstarted last year, and now they're going to be the ones who are publishing it. It looks amazing. Museum artwork by Vincent Dutrait looks really cool. Several of the people at Luma Games have been in the industry for a while, so I'm looking forward to see how this company is going to do. Renegade has announced a new game called Junk Orbit. This is from Daniel Salas, and just when you're turning junk into good things. It looks like the container is a round one from the picture. Not the biggest fan of that, but hey, who knows? There's 128 tiles in it, and so that sounds fun. 2 to 5 players. Going back to restoration games, they've shown off the picture for Fireball Island and a prototype of the board you can find online. That's exciting. This is coming to Kickstarter on April 3rd. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one plays out, because Fireball Island was great fun, but it was not a very good game. But this one, we have great game designers and developers working on this. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's changed. It's going to be fantastic. I feel it. And then there's a new expansion coming out for Terraforming Mars called Prelude. This is going to allow you to take cards to kind of modify your corporations that you have. It's all about the corporations, some small things, but it's going to make the game even more asymmetrical. My corporation is going to be extremely different than yours, which sounds just really, really great. So that's the news. Suzanne, what about Kickstarter?
Happy breakfast, everybody. Let's take a quick look at what's happening in our crowdfunding world today, including a look at what could be the biggest tabletop project of the year. Batman Gotham City Chronicles is a scenario-based game in which players take on the role of the Dark Knight and various other allies against a player who controls the villains. There is a massive amount of stuff in this box, or boxes, and it all looks to be super high quality. But let's face it, this game is all about those minis. Fully licensed Batman minis that include a wide variety of heroes, villains, and in-betweens. They all stuff this massive project that has a reasonable chance of being the biggest tabletop game on Kickstarter ever. Now, if you're interested in Batman Gotham City Chronicles, keep in mind this is a Kickstarter exclusive game, which the makers explain is due to their experiences in the financial margin trade-offs area that come with retail distribution. There are 4 available expansions that increase the gameplay options and the miniature count, but a copy of the base game takes a pledge of $140 plus shipping that will be calculated after the campaign ends. Palm Island is one of the rare games designed to play without a table. Using what publisher Portal Dragon calls deck transformation, cards are used in a variety of ways, changing sides and orientations to serve a variety of purposes as you work to increase production, set up trade markets, expand the village, or build temples. In solo play, you work to achieve feats. Competitive play has you racing to recruit new village members, and cooperative play has you challenged to prepare for pending disasters. Again, all within this hand of 17 cards. Palm Island includes cards for 2 players, plus a few extra cards needed for solo, co-op, and competitive play, and a copy of the game takes a pledge of just $16. Edge of Darkness is the 3rd game from AEG that uses the card crafting system, which utilizes clear plastic cards that can be sleeved together to form more powerful single cards. Players have their own guild cards that they will enhance, but cards are discarded to a shared discard, meaning other players will have an opportunity at your cards. But using an opponent's card abilities, it has a price. Edge of Darkness also has a few other mechanisms like drafting to procure the cards that you'll play for abilities and to manage your agent tokens that are sent out and retrieved from various board spots to provide a variety of benefits. And of course, there's that sizable cube tower that's the hub for the monsters attacking the city. Cubes dropped into the tower determine who the monsters will strike. You can get a copy of Edge of Darkness for a pledge of $60 plus shipping. Sword Crafters takes its name seriously as a game that has players literally crafting a cardboard sword. Thematically, you're working to build the best sword of protection for the realm, with swords scoring points based on its length, quality, which is focusing on a single side, and magic, which scores based on gems around the sword. Players build swords from notched tiles that you gain by a I cut you choose style mechanism. Designed to play in about 30 minutes, Sword Crafters has that unique 3D charm, and while there's an available expansion that adds a new scoring mechanism, a base copy of Sword Crafters takes a pledge of $29. Knights of Fire is the sequel game to the well-received Days of Ire. Inspired by real events, in Knights of Fire you play as the Hungarians trying to buy time for your people to escape while you hinder the Soviet invasion. If you play as the Soviets, you work to advance into the city and capture insurgents. Both sides have unique game mechanisms. The Hungarians have a kind of hidden block mechanism, while the Soviets have a hand-building mechanism driving their actions. Knights of Fire can be played solo, 2-player cooperatively, or 2v1 with one person taking on the Soviet role. You can also combine Days of Ire and Knights of Fire with the Days and Nights expansion that's optional. On top of that, there's an available add-on pack of miniatures that includes a small card expansion that creates campaign play. But just a copy of Knights of Fire takes a pledge of $43 plus shipping. Last but not least, Chronicles of Crime is a VR-enhanced cooperative crime-solving game. Full disclosure, I've played a prototype of this game and am completely biased because I think it's an amazing experience. In Chronicles of Crime, you work as a team of investigators and use cards that represent people, places, and clues involved in a crime. With the custom app, you scan QR codes that let you ask any of the characters about anything you find, consult with forensic experts, and travel to different locations. And when it's time to investigate the crime scene, with the help of the optional 3D glasses that work just by sliding over your phone, you get a VR experience that allows you to look around the space and finding clues. This system works incredibly smoothly, and I was happy to see that there's both a noir and 1980s style expansion available as well. The base game is just $39, but the deluxe edition of Chronicles of Crime that includes a set of glasses and an extra case takes a pledge of $49 plus shipping.
Okay, that's all I've got for you this episode. What do you think? Is Batman going to be one of the biggest tabletop projects of the year? There's a ton of great stuff coming up in the next month, so I guess we shall see. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful week.
Hello guys, I am Cardboard Rhino and welcome to Rhino Says Yes. Today, guess what? I brought an abstract 2-player game. I guess there might be some pattern there, but I can't stop talking about them. Today's gem is Patchwork. In Patchwork, 2 players compete to build the most aesthetic patchwork quilt on an individual 9x9 game board. To start, you lay out all of the patches at random in a circle and place your time tokens on the time board. You also place the neutral token next to the smallest patch. Each player takes 5 buttons as currency and the first player begins. On a turn, a player either purchases one of the 3 patches standing clockwise next to the neutral token or passes. To purchase a patch, you pay the cost in buttons, move the token to that patch's location in the circle and the patch to your game board, and then advance your time token on the time track that many spaces. When you pass, you place your time token directly in front of your opponents and you receive as many buttons as spaces move. In Patchwork, you don't necessarily alternate between turns. The player whose time token is the furthest behind on the time board takes his turn. The game ends after both time tokens reach the last space of the time board, and to see your score, you determine the number of buttons you have left, adding the value of the special tile if available, and then you subtract 2 points for each empty spot on the quilt board. Patchwork is a great game that the entire family can equally enjoy. It is easy to learn, but it's so much more than it seems. There is very direct competition with your opponent, as he or she can see which piece you need next and they can jump over that piece or set you up so that all of your available pieces cost too much or are in the wrong shape. Also, the catching up mechanic makes the game very well balanced and needs players to quickly adapt their strategy, as each turn may change the course of the game completely. So Rhino says yes to Patchwork. You should definitely give it a try.
Okay, all sorts of cool things that we're going to be doing this week. I'm going to be taking a look at the expansions for the Raiders of the North Sea, both of those expansions. And I got several other games that I have these, actually I think there's a lot of expansions I'll be taking a look at from various games this week. I think I'm taking a look at one for Eldritch Horror, for Dixit, for Legendary, so I guess it's a week of expansions. But there's other board games that we'll be taking a look at this week and other shows, and I have something different in mind that we'll probably see closer to the end of the week. Once I get that together, I'm excited about that. So all that being said, there's also the Dice Tower. Dice Tower tonight is this week. All right, so Wednesday night, set your watch. Come and join us at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. For me and Eric, we'll have things. We're going to have a contest, so you want to come in for the contest. We have a way for you to pick the next game that I'm going to review, or there's 6 games and you guys pick the one. Try to pick a better one than you did last time, okay? But that's fun, and we do other things on that show. It's live. Me and Eric, you can come in, ask questions, and things like that. And also, I'll be doing a live Q&A today, probably 1 o'clock, so I'll talk to you guys then. Okay, so that's all the stuff that's coming out from us this week. Of course, you can find out all our podcasts. There's lots of podcasts as part of the network, so check out DicetowerNetwork.com for that. Let's keep going.
Hi, Mike DeLisio from Solomode Games. This week I'd like to continue with Talking About Gaming Solo, a segment made up of wonderful contributions from the Dice Tower Facebook page. Kate Thompson says, I've noticed 2 distinct types of solo gaming. One is finding games that have a solo variant or can be played with just one player. The other is setting up a multiplayer game and playing several players on your own. I tend to enjoy the first one quite a lot, but will rarely do the second one. My partner does the second one all the time though. He'll even play Twilight Imperium with 4 factions by himself. Thoughts on the difference between those 2 things? Are they different in your mind too? Well, Kate, yes, they are different in my mind. I don't really know that there's a value judgment that I hold with one being better than another. I know that I tend to go for the actual solo variants. When I do try to play a multiplayer game, 2, 3, 4-handed, it's really if it's a game that I know that I'm going to be trying to learn and then teach to others. I found that can be helpful. But if I'm playing a game just for an enjoyment, for solo, then I'm going to be typically playing the regular solitaire variant, a game that's designed with a solitaire variant. The exception to that would be cooperative games, because those games by their nature are set up, they're fine to be played solo with multiple characters that you're controlling. But I'd be interested to hear what the Board Game Breakfast viewers think. Is there a viable solitaire gaming experience out of playing multiplayer games 2, 3, 4-handed? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen, the Board Game Librarian, flipping some pages and pushing some cubes with my segment From the Page to the Table. This week, take a magical journey with me into the world of The Magicians by Lev Grossman. This has been called the adult version of Harry Potter and is the first book in a series, a trilogy, that was also made into a somewhat popular TV show. In this book, you follow a bunch of high school and college age students as they learn what their magical abilities are and what they can use in the real world. It's not for everyone. It's definitely not one of my more favorite fantasy wizard books, but if you really loved Harry Potter, I think you'll like The Magicians. I'm going to pair it with a really fun game of Arcane Academy, published by my friends at Third World Studios and designed by Eric M. Lang and Kevin Wilson. This is a tile linking game for 2 to 4 players, playing in 45 minutes. Although if you're playing with 2 players, you can really play in 20 minutes. Very fun artwork. I think it's one of those games that I should have never shown my husband because it's a puzzle as well. You're really trying to maximize the tiles that you have, and I just sit there in amazement. You're supposed to finish 8 assignments, and he hits his 8th assignment, and I'm on like number 5. Ugh. Oh man. Excellent production quality. It really captures the spirit of The Magicians. I'll see you next week, and I'll see you on Instagram.
Howdy folks, welcome to By the Numbers. My name is Hunter Thomason from the Family Showdown. On By the Numbers, we take a look at a numeric board game related topic. This week's topic: what is a mass market game? As the name implies, a mass market game is a game sold at a mass market retailer such as Walmart or Target. On the other hand, designer or hobby board games give credit to a designer, unlike most mass market games. So let's take a look at some numbers. So putting aside public domain games such as chess, checkers, and Go, the biggest selling mass market game is probably Monopoly at 300 million copies sold. Just behind that, at over 100 million copies sold, are Clue, Scrabble, and Trivial Pursuit. Continuing down the list, we have The Game of Life at over 50 million copies sold. And then you have Pictionary and Rummikub at over 30 million copies sold. All these games would be definitely considered mass market games, but not too far behind that list is Catan, Catan at 27 million copies sold. Catan definitely has a massive market, but is it a mass market game? I took a little journey down to my local Target. And what did I spy with my little eye? A whole bunch of designer games. If you've been to a Barnes & Noble lately, at least for those watching from the US, you know they have oodles and oodles of designer board games. So is Barnes & Noble a subset of a board game store? Or is the term mass market game now invalid? Leave your opinions down in the comments, and maybe I'll feature your comment on a future episode.
Two brothers set loose in a thrift store. This is Thrift Store Throwbacks.
All hail King Nicholas, what is your first decree?
My first decree is kings that all kings go in corners. Now I'm king in a corner.
Oi, I will take over now.
Ah!
I'm gonna go find my own corner and my own land. Alright, new corner, new king.
I'm not quite dead, so I'm still ruling this corner.
Yeah, well, I've got the crown and my corner's like really cool and mysterious.
Do you think we're taking the name of this game too literally?
Yeah, probably.
So this is the kings in the corner, so we're going to play with our fancy gold cards. And it's kind of like Solitaire. We're going to be playing columns of cards in descending order, alternating color. So when you look out here in the tab slots, if ever there's a king, you're going to take the kings out and move them to their king slots. And then you can build your column down from there. And once you do that, it's up to you to play as many times as you can. So I have a red 5. I can play 4, 3, 2, 1 straight down like that. Boom, baller status. Now I have a 5 here and a 6 here, so I can actually move an entire stack over to another tab slot as well. That leaves me able to play a queen right there, and I can play my other 2 cards in those empty slots, and then bang, bang, I win the hand, and whoever wins the most hands wins whatever, or just determine how you want to win. That's fine.
So that was Kings in a Corner.
Oh, dang, they went in all in the corners.
I am a king in a corner.
So this game was kind of cool, man. It was kind of cool.
I didn't think much of it. I actually really liked it.
It borrows kind of like the Solitaire, you know, it's familiar things that we all know and love. It's made by the same people who made Sequence, and, you know, it's fun. It's kind of reliant on luck, I feel like, although you don't have to play cards if you don't want to, so you can kind of, like, wait to get things all lined up and then make a big move.
Yeah, but the game is so casual that I don't really care that it's kind of based on luck. Yeah. Like, we're just sitting there being, like, chatting and stuff. It's a good kind of like, hey, we got 20 minutes, let's play a real quick game. I like it.
Before we go, folks, we just want to talk about real quick, this Thursday, live at twitch.tv/thebrothersmurph, we are going to be streaming Viticulture with Jamie Stegmeyer, the man himself, in the chat. So do join us for that. We'd love to have a big audience for him to check us out, and follow us at twitch.tv/thebrothersmurph beforehand so you get alerts about when we go live for that stream. Do not miss it. Holla.
Also subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Holla for other cool stuff. Bam, Kings in the Corner and whatnot. Until next time, we're going to see you in the most royal of thrift stores.
We'll see you there.
They call them charity stores across the pond.
They do.
That's weird. I'm stealing today's topic from somebody who mentioned this on the Dice Tower Facebook group. By the way, if you're not on the Dice Tower Facebook group, you should join it. There are thousands and thousands of members and lots of great discussion, and it will clog all the hateful speech that Facebook has out of your feed because it'll just be board games. But someone said they liked being the facilitator of games, and they asked if anyone else likes doing that, sometimes even if they're not playing. And I thought, wow, that's exactly how I feel about games. I really like doing that, but am I unique in that? So sometimes I'll have a 4-player game and there's 5 people, and I'll say, you know what, I don't need to play. I'll help run the game. Facilitate is what I mean. I'll set it up, all the players, I'll hand out the money, I'll say, this is what you do next, okay? And I'm like the computer to some degree. It's keeping things going. I'm not telling people what their moves are, but I can say, here's your options that you have, especially when it's a new game, right? And I like doing that. I like being someone who helps other people have fun. And every time this happens, someone's like, no, I don't want to take away from your fun. You play the game. But you know what? I kind of am playing the game. I might not be actually making the decisions in that, but I'm watching everybody. And in fact, I get a better, less biased look at the game when I'm not actually playing it, because I see what each other person is doing on their turn. And that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to make the game go more smoothly anyway. You know, board games are great, and they're definitely better than computer games, for sure. But the fact is that computer games will do a lot of this stuff behind the scenes. Like when it's like, clear the board in a computer game and get ready for the next one. It just does it. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And I get some points here, and it scores them. Bloop. Well, I can be that computer for you, right? So you get 7 points. I'm like, here you go. I'll take the change. I'll do that. I'm the banker. I also move the points in the score track. You're like, did I move the points? I did it for you because I'm the facilitator. Now, some people don't like that, right? Some people like, don't touch it. I'm not facilitating at such a point where I'm like, oh, you need to roll some dice? I'll roll them for you. No. I'll place your pieces on the board. No, I think that you can go too far. I've seen this done, okay? You can go too far, but I think someone can be there and help make the game run more smoothly. I like doing it. It just gives me a sense of joy. It gives me the same sense of hosting people at my house. You come over and I host and I do this and I do that. And when it's over, I'm like, I wanted to get a piece of that cheesecake, but it's gone and you guys ate it all, but you're the guest, so that's okay. Right? And that's how hosting works. And I feel the same way here. How many of you like doing that? Maybe some people don't like doing that. If you're not involved in the game, it means nothing to you. I certainly understand that. I know some people feel the same way I do. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Or does having a facilitator annoy you? You're like, oh man, I just want to play the game. What's this guy moving all the pieces for? For me, it's a lot of fun being the facilitator.
Hello everyone, my name is Annette, and you may know me as Netters Plays. And today on Applied Mechanics, I'm going to go over the game of The Last Garden. So this game has an area control along with a betting mechanism, but the combination of the two, along with a little twist, is what makes this game unique. So let me show you a little bit about it and why I really like it. So here you have the setup of the game. So on a player's turn, you would play one card. These cards will change the layout of the garden, and then place a robotness. So this card will let you place any gem in the number 1 location on the board. This card will let you move one gem from sector 1 into any area on the board. And this card will let you spin the value of the 3 sector either into a 4 or a 2. After you play a card, then you'll be able to place a robotness anywhere onto the board. You can place them either in the garden, in the mines, in the workshop, or the lab. If you place your robotness into the garden, then these gems will turn into points. If you place your robotness into the mine, then you're pretty much betting on the most colored gems of that type, either red, blue, or green, in the garden. If you place your robotness into the workshop, then the value of the sector, however many gems are in those locations, will give you points, either a 1-to-1 ratio or a 2-to-1 ratio. Also, if there's too many gems in one sector, a robotness can be placed in the workshop in order to score points, and all of those gems will be removed from the board. If you place your robotness into the lab, then you will be granted any one of the special abilities on these different tiles. Once all the robotness are placed on the board, then you're ready to score points. You play a certain amount of rounds, and whoever scores the most points wins. So as you can see, the game layout is constantly changing, and the players have a little bit of control over that. But also, they're betting on how the end layout will be. And because of that, there's a lot of player interaction and a lot of take that. And that's what makes this game so much fun, because the players are constantly interacting with the movement of the board. Well, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Happy breakfast everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about the theming of visions within board games. Whether they are unconscious dreams or they're sort of visions that are being sent to you by something else. When I Dream is a thematic game about sleeping, having dreams and spirits sort of helping you along your way. Each round a player is going to adorn this mask, which means they can't see the words that are in the bed-shaped deck holder. The other players are going to be either trying to help them as good spirits or make their life harder, being the bad spirits, trying to guess the words that come up. At the end of that round you then have to say what you've remembered from your words and you'll score points accordingly. Now you can just list them off, but if you actually turn it into a bit of a story, a bit of a dream, it all comes together and it's just that bit more enjoyable. For me, I've always enjoyed Cluedo. So Mysterium, where you are trying to guess a person, a place and a weapon, kind of hits all the nostalgic vibes for me. But in this time, you're not going around asking questions of others. The ghost is actually going to be sending you visions through tarot-like dream cards. Now, the actual artwork is just phenomenal. Think very much like Dixit or even When I Dream style cards, and that's what's going to be coming up. You're going to look at this and not really have any idea what it could mean, but once you've got a couple, you can see a link between them and guess which person, which place or item the ghost is trying to hint to you. At a low player count, you don't get to use all the mechanics, so you don't get to vote on whether you think other people are right or wrong. At around 5 players, that's when this kicks in, and it really starts to get good, and that's why Mysterium is great fun for a sort of party, light-hearted style environment. Anyway, thanks for listening to me waffle on all about visions in the theming of board games. And I'm Oliver East, signing out.
Hi everyone, winter is here, and that is not that particular. Come on, it's the beginning of March and it's cold outside, but this time we've got some special winds flowing in from Siberia, and now suddenly everyone is calling this weather the Russian bear. Beware, the Russian bear is here. Of course, our friends in England have it worse. They call it the beast from the east, and our own Dan Hughes, he's got it worst of all. His heating broke, so he's a little popsicle now. Our thoughts are with you, Dan. This week I am playing a game that uses the word bear just as freely as our Dutch news agencies are calling it. This week I am playing Bear Park. In Bear Park, you are creating your own bear park, and you try to fill up your board as quickly as you can. Every time you put one of those polyomino tiles on your board and you cover up a certain spot, you get more tiles that you can use in later turns. There are special assignments that you try to do faster than everyone else, and it all comes down to who's better at planning, who is able to take in the big points before everyone else does that. Ooh, bit of wind right there. There are 4 different types of bears, and one of them is the koala bear, which is basically not really a bear. Of all the tile laying games that use polyomino tiles, I like Bear Park best because it really makes you plan ahead, and you are not only depending on the tiles that are available to you. You can choose any tile you want. It all has to do with what you do while planning. So Bear Park is a great game. Check that one out. My name is Dave Luza. Thanks for watching, and have a great week!
Hey, this is Mike with the Board Game Makeover. In this week's episode, I'm going to show you a game that has become our #1 family favorite. Why? Because it's quick, it's simple, and it's amazing. It's called Azul. A great game by Plan B Games, and oh my gosh, everyone who I play this with loves it. It's an abstract game with beautiful components, but there's always something you can do to a game to make it better. In this case, Azul is a great game on the table, a great game to take to gaming group, but is it a true travel game? If my kids tried to play this in the back seat of the car, you wouldn't. The pieces slide. You need something that will keep them in place. I found the almost perfect solution. It's called Travel Scrabble. But no, they aren't playing Scrabble. What they're doing is playing Azul in a travel edition. See how the pieces don't fall off? I've been throwing this around like a football, and they don't fall off. This is an awesome way to play Azul for a 2-player game. Take it with you, and all the pieces fit on really well. This travel edition Scrabble is the perfect replacement for Azul when you have to travel. Azul is a game by Michael Kinsling and published by Plan B Games. It plays 2 to 4 players in about 30 to 45 minutes. This is a 2-player setup, and this is how beautiful this game is. These tiles are just absolutely amazing. This game looks great on a table or at the gaming group, but let me show you what a true travel size game really looks like. Now this is Azul Travel Size Edition, and when I say travel size, I mean it's small. This is an old Scrabble game where you have these little pieces that fit in here and they don't move. It's perfect for travel. It's a 2-player game, of course, because that's how the travel edition of Scrabble was. And as you can tell, the board fits perfectly under there.
The tiles fit perfectly onto there. You can play it just by moving them over. And that's the beauty of this game, is now you can actually close it, come back to it later if you want. Scrabble, or it was. Now it's called Azul Travel Edition. Azul, a game that I can't rave enough about. It's awesome, it's fun, it's thinky a little bit because it makes you figure out the best way to get points. And it's beautiful. But Scrabble Travel Edition, using Azul, is even just as amazing. But you can take it with you. The pieces are small, they stay in place. You can find the Scrabble Edition at the Goodwill. I bought this one for about $2. And next week I'll show you exactly how I made this game. Thanks for watching the Board Game Makeover. I will see you next time.
Oh, hi Internet. When we first opened Snakes and Lattes, we didn't think people would want Wi-Fi when they were here to play games. After all, you're sitting at a table face to face with your friends, enjoying good company, not staring at screens. What we didn't realize was that people didn't really want to be playing board games at 9 or 10 in the morning, but they had ample reasons to go to cafes anyway. And without Wi-Fi for our guests, they had ample reasons to go to other cafes instead of us. So we decided, Internet. Even if you're not working on your latest screenplay or some important work project or studying for finals, there are plenty of reasons why Internet access is useful for gamers. Many games these days are app dependent or app assisted. You might want to access facts or videos, reviews, tutorials about the games that you're thinking of learning to play, and maybe you just want to log your plays in the moment. So, Snakes and Lattes, Wi-Fi. It's now a thing.
Hello, my name's Dan, and this is Cora, and we're here today to talk to you about games for young children. Now, we've got an old classic for you today. We're going to be talking about...
Kaplunk!
Kaplunk!
Wouldn't pull that one.
Now, Cora, you've been playing this, haven't you, at school?
Yeah, we have a board game club and you play board games. It's like, instead of just like doing PE all day or sports or...
Instead of doing rubbish PE or sports, you do board games.
You get to play board games.
Yeah, and this is one that you said
There's some that even we don't have.
There's some that even we don't have. Can you believe it? So, and this is one of the games that you said you really liked from Board Game Club, wasn't it? So you got it for Christmas. Do you like it?
Yes.
What do you like about it?
Well, it's a different version.
It's slightly different to the one you've got at school, but do you like it?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
Because like I like its skill, and see that golden one.
Yeah.
There's golden one there. That's 2 marbles, and you do not want to get the golden.
You do not want to get the golden ball because it's worth 2, and that's bad luck.
Yeah.
It's a classic. I think it's very important not to be snobby about games like this. There's a reason these games are popular, and it's not always just because it's always the most mass marketed. It's fine. It's a great game. They're having a great time with that box. She had a great time with playing it now. Ultimately, when you're playing kids games, the aim is to spend quality time with your kids, and there's nothing wrong with Kaplunk. So we give it 2 rolling thumbs up. Hooray!
Like all great fighter pilots and all-round cool guys, I sometimes like to fly solo. So stupid. Some of my favourite games are Viticulture, Suburbia and La Granja. Now, something that Viticulture and Suburbia has that La Granja doesn't have, which drives me absolutely just mental, is a winning condition. I mean, you beat yourself, but you might be rubbish, right? So beating yourself is rubbish as well. I would enjoy the solo version of La Granja so much more if I just knew if I'd won or not. Just grade me.
Look at me! Evaluate and rank me! Oh, I'm good, and oh, so smart! Grade me!
In Viticulture, I know how well I've done. Not very. In Suburbia, you know if you've won or if you've lost. But in La Granja, you just play, and then, oh, did you try to get the best score you can? There's no satisfaction in that at all. Which really is a shame because it's such a good game. Now, apparently the Dutch rules do have a grade, star rating and points, but they're not in my rules, which is incredibly frustrating. Let me know if this enrages you too, so we can be angry in a futile and pointless way together. Bye.
And that's it for another Board Game Breakfast. Thank you to all my fantastic and marvelous contributors. Okay, but before we go, I want to start a new segment. All right, and then for this segment, I need you guys to join in. This new segment is going to be called Tom is Wrong. All right, that's what it is. So you can pick any review that I've done, any Tom thinks, whatever. As long as you are congenial about it, you send in a short video. 1 minute, you get to say why Tom's wrong. Now I'm gonna have some. I might come back and be like, well, let me answer that. But if you send me a video on why Tom is wrong and it's decent enough quality, I'll stick it in the show. This is open to everyone, including Dice Tower contributors, other video channels, or just anyone watching. You know, just record and just say Tom is wrong about, and then go for it. Tell me why I'm wrong. I really like to encourage opposite viewpoints and different viewpoints in the channel. And maybe I wasn't fair enough to a game that you think I should have said better things about. Maybe I said a game was great, which you think is complete trash. Or maybe I talk about being a facilitator and you think that's the silliest thing in the world. Or whatever it is, let me know. Send those to tom@dicetower.com or link to them somewhere where I can get them. And you'll see them in the future on Tom is Wrong. But today, Tom is happy, because we're at the end of another Board Game Breakfast, and I had such a great time doing it. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.